but they now have a third injury to report entering the game. On Saturday, quarterback ShedeurSanders was added to the Browns injury report. He's dealing with back tightness. He's questionable for the game.
I think warming up, and I felt it throughout individuals who took a look at it. If it's a right guard, you can play for that. When it's a quarterback, you kind of need that muscle to throw. So unfortunately, going to put him down for a little bit here. We'll treat it day to day and see how he responds. But want to be smart because he's a thrower, so you can't push that.
Kevin Stefanski is actually par for the course. I know a lot of fans don't want to hear it. I know a lot of fans don't know about it. But I'm going to take y'all inside this locker room. So
Kevin Stefanski is at it again, pulling some shady moves when it comes to ShedeurSanders. This time, it looks like he's trying to keep Sanders off the field while Dillon takes the spotlight with the first team. Just yesterday, when it seemed like Shedeur might get his shot against the Patriots, Stefanski dropped a bombshell announcement. He claimed that Shedeur is out of the quarterback competition due to a back injury. According to the press release, the injury involves muscles essential for QBs to throw the ball, and Stefanski made it clear that how Shedeur handles this injury could determine how long he's sidelined. It's almost as if he's leaving the door open to keep Shedeur benched for even longer if he doesn't play along.
No. I mean, with a young quarterback with Dillon starting, you want to make sure he gets a lot of the reps.
Kevin Stefanski had previously made it clear that ShedeurSanders wouldn't be taking any reps, stating that Dillon, as the first-team player, should be the one getting all the practice. His comments were unmistakably aimed at sidelining Shedeur, effectively neglecting him and showing no interest in giving him playing time. Now, with this sudden injury announcement, it seems like another layer to the situation, as if it fits perfectly into the larger picture. The timing raises questions, and it feels like there's more to this than just an injury. It all seems part of a bigger plan to keep Shedeur off the field. As the situation continued to develop, the Browns came under heavy scrutiny, with both fans and analysts questioning Stefanski's decision to push ShedeurSanders aside. The criticism grew as Stefanski remained committed to giving Dillon all the reps with the first team. What raised even more concerns was his decision to part ways with two experienced quarterbacks, leaving a rookie as the backup. Despite the obvious risk of Dillon potentially getting injured, Stefanski stood firm in his refusal to provide Shedeur with a legitimate chance to prove himself on the field.
I thought it got weirder when you let go of the first two guys. Well, you traded the first two guys that you had. All right, but giving Dillongabriel all the first team reps, really? We're just looking for reasons.
As tensions reached a boiling point, Browns quarterback coach Bill Musgrave felt compelled to step in and publicly assert that Dillongabriel was the superior quarterback compared to ShedeurSanders. When asked about Stefanski's decision to have Dillon take all the first-team reps, Musgrave didn't mince words. He made it clear that ShedeurSanders was more than ready to face any challenge, whether it meant going up against the first-team defense or playing with the second team. Musgrave stressed that Shedeur's attitude and development had already demonstrated his ability to compete at the highest level.
I think he's doing a better job of communicating and making sure his teammates are all in sync, both in the huddle and at the line of scrimmage. So I think just the natural progression is taking place.
Amid the mounting tension, the situation took a surprising turn when owner Jimmy Haslam intervened to set the record straight. He made it clear that the Browns had no intention of trading ShedeurSanders, no matter the circumstances. Reports soon emerged that Haslam had a direct conversation with Stefanski, where he emphasized that 3 games weren't enough to definitively name Dillongabriel as the starting quarterback. Haslam went even further, insisting that Shedeur remain with the team, pointing to the progress he had made. Essentially, Haslam wasn't ready to let go of Sanders, rejecting the idea that Shedeur wasn't ready to contribute. When Jimmy Haslam stepped in, insisting that ShedeurSanders would be taking plays, Stefanski had no choice but to find a way to push back. Now, Stefanski has come forward, claiming that Shedeur is dealing with a back injury. However, it's clear to everyone that there's no real back problem. It's just another tactic to prevent him from getting any first-team reps. This move feels like pure manipulation, a calculated effort to keep Shedeur sidelined and out of the picture. And it's not just speculation. This is a pattern we've seen before. Back in the preseason, after ShedeurSanders performed well against the Panthers, Stefanski pulled the same move to avoid playing him in the next game. Despite the obvious questions surrounding the decision, the Browns tried to downplay it. When they couldn't come up with another reason, they settled on claiming arm soreness. something they insisted would be resolved by the next day. This only deepens the suspicion. Is this truly an injury? Or is it the Browns' way of keeping Sanders sidelined, especially with growing pressure to put him on the field? Something doesn't quite add up.
Is what you're telling me what he can't do. Like my coach just said in college, but hey, find something that he can do. See, you keep telling me what Shedeur can't do. Well, your job as a coach is to put players in position and find something that they can do.
Even Stefanski himself acknowledged that Sanders' recovery might take a little longer than usual, emphasizing the need for caution due to the involvement of a crucial muscle group. However, the way he phrased it and the hesitation in his voice only fueled the uncertainty. Each statement seemed deliberate, almost as if he was avoiding revealing the full truth. His reluctance to be completely transparent is beginning to suggest that there's more to this situation than he's willing to admit. The lack of clarity is raising even more questions about what's really going on behind the scenes.
If it's a right guard, you can play through that. When it's a quarterback, you kind of need that muscle to throw. So unfortunately, going to put him down for a little bit here. We'll treat it day to day and see how he responds, but want to be smart because he's a thrower, so you can't.
Even high-profile figures in the football world, like Dan Orlovsky, have been pushing Stefanski to give ShedeurSanders a chance with the first-team offense. Despite Sanders' impressive performance in the last game, Stefanski hasn't budged. And then, almost out of nowhere, the narrative suddenly shifted to Sanders being injured. Let's be honest, that's a tough sell considering how things have played out. Given everything Sanders has shown on the field, it's hard to believe that injury is really the reason he's being kept on the sidelines. There's no doubt that this situation goes much deeper than what's being shared with the public.
Stephen A. doesn't matter, Shefty. It's what does it look like? And he looked like a guy that should be getting opportunity to say, nope, you're actually not good enough. If I were the Browns, he would be getting reps with the starters this week. I felt like going into the game, if he played a certain way, that would be the case. He should getting reps with the starters this week.
Once again, the pattern is clear. After training, ShedeurSanders showed no signs of discomfort. He was dancing, fully in the groove. While the coaching staff likely expected him to follow the line, he chose to dance. And it wasn't just a lighthearted moment. It was a statement. He was making it clear that they couldn't control him so easily. Then, the very next day, the coaching staff tried to convince everyone that he was injured. And to top it off, they moved Bailey Zappi into the QB2 spot. It's hard to take that seriously. It's downright insane. In the end, it's becoming increasingly clear that this supposed injury is nothing more than a calculated strategy to keep ShedeurSanders from stepping into the starting role. The timing of the injury announcement, especially after his impressive performance on the field, raises serious doubts. Stefanski's repeated refusal to give Shedeur any first-team reps, despite the mounting pressure, only adds to the suspicion. And now, with the sudden back injury claim, it seems as though they found the perfect excuse to keep him sidelined. Let's not forget the previous instances where Shedeur's progress and potential were dismissed with flimsy explanations. In the preseason, after a standout performance against the Panthers, the coaching staff conveniently labeled it as arm soreness, something that would resolve itself by tomorrow. That alone should have raised red flags, but now, with the back injury narrative being used again, it's hard to ignore the pattern. Shedeur's consistent efforts to prove himself on the field seem to be met with resistance at every turn. This isn't just about an injury. It's about control. Shedeur's refusal to follow the established narrative and his refusal to just sit back and accept a backup role have made him a target. The dancing after training wasn't just playful. It was a statement that he wasn't going to let the coaches push him around. And now, in response, they're using this injury as a means to hold him back. Ultimately, it's clear that this injury is just a cover-up for the deeper issue. The coaching staff doesn't want Shedeur in the first team, regardless of what he's proven on the field. The question is, how long can they keep up the charade before everyone sees through it? So, what do you think of all this? Do you believe that ShedeurSanders is really injured? Or is this just another excuse to keep him off the field? How long do you think the Browns can keep up this narrative before it becomes too obvious? Do you think Stefanski is trying to suppress Shedeur's potential? Or is there something we're missing here? With everything that's unfolded so far, it's hard not to question the motives behind these decisions. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's discuss.